Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. We're a show that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I am joined as always by Andrea.
Well, hello, John, fellow matchy matchy man.
Yeah. Yeah. You pointed out before the show our psychic link of all black.
My God, we're hanging out together so much, we're becoming the same person.
Yep.
This
I mean, I can see
is how
your
it
facial hair
starts.
starting to come
I
in,
know. You're
It's just,
starting to grow out your hair. I
hmm
mean,
yep.
this is how it starts, John.
Well, hopefully we stay enough separate people to have varying opinions on this show to argue about back and forth, keep it interesting. But yeah, this is episode 112
hmm
and hopefully we don't argue too much tonight, but we'll get into things. We're going to talk about The Boys. Um for new viewers, kidding, we don't argue very much. It's not we're not here
it
fighting.
is more occasional than I
Yeah.
think we think it is.
And yeah, we're gonna be talking about The Boys from Amazon
Mhm,
later in the show. We'll be talking spoilers on that and covering specifically the latest season, season 3, episodes 3 and 4.
mhm.
So if you're following us, what we typically do here is rotate weeks, talk about a couple shows. We're going between Westworld and The Boys this week. It is The Boys. So
Mhm.
stay tuned for that. We also have a little news regarding The Boys as well. Um, before that, we'll talk about our weeks and discuss some drink holidays. It is on the
Yes.
rocks after all, so we got to talk about the booze.
Yes. Well, we have plenty to talk about this week. There's plenty to pick your poison from, as it were. Starting after our last show, like I do, July 7th, it was National Dive Bar Day. I don't really know what
Mm.
that constitutes, like if you should just go to a dive bar. And
Yeah,
I mean, what do you order at a dive
I
bar?
think you get a pitcher of cheap beer,
I love it. I
pitcher of
love it.
domestic. That's what it is.
Yep.
Mm.
And you get the, like, little plastic, they're not like red
Not
Solo
even
cups, but like
right.
the clear plasticky nothing cups.
hmm
Yeah,
Exactly, like going to a
absolutely.
bowling alley. That
Yes.
kind of thing. Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
Nice. Good call. Good order. Are you celebrating National Dive Bar Day?
I am not.
Okay. I will move on to our next contestant. July 10th, it was National Pina Colada Day. Do you like pina
Nice.
coladas and
Yeah.
getting caught in the rain?
Well, worry about that coming up. Actually, I'll say it now, I guess. While you mentioned it,
All
I,
right.
I very much got caught in the rain a couple
Ah.
times in Savannah. So Georgia's having these like quick blasts of rain,
Sure.
heavy thunder coming in, and then it's gone. And so we definitely got stuck in that some. So
That's funny because Minnesota had its own little like flash thunderstorm on Tuesday. I got
okay.
caught in because I was going to softball,
Mm,
and
okay.
I mean, it was just like 5-10 minutes of just like blowing crazy, pattering rain, and
Yep.
then it like erupted into sunny skies and a magnificent double rainbow.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
So I also got caught in the rain.
Yep. Same.
And pina
That's the link.
coladas,
It's yeah.
you know.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, they're all right. They're a very
hmm
specific drink to me.
Okay.
You have to be in a very specific mood. I'm not just like, oh yeah, pina colada.
A fun party mood like tonight.
Ha!
It's in the wrong vessel. I understand, Dorit, but it is yeah. I have
Inside
a
joke
mhm, I
for
have
those
a
of you who love the wives.
I have a cherry pina colada.
Ooh,
So
cherry pina colada. How was
yeah,
that?
it's very good. It's super
Okay.
refreshing. Like I say, ready to party. Let's get going.
It's
So, but
summertime after all.
yeah, but you probably don't have a pina colada.
I do
Are you
not.
see? Okay,
I
all
do
right.
not. No. So I'm going to move on. So now that I know what you're celebrating, we can run through them. July 11th, it was National Mojito Day, which I do enjoy a good mojito. also kind of like a very specific I need to be in the mood for,
Mhm.
but a delicious beverage nonetheless. July 12th, it was National Michelada Day. Michelada, right? Michelada.
I read it as Michelada,
Okay.
but yeah,
I, I say it and then immediately will be like, oh shit, it's the wrong one. I know it's the wrong one. You know what I mean? Just
uh-huh.
like you take your best guess and immediately you're like, no, damn it.
Yes.
So that was July 12th. And then July 14th, yesterday, it was a double holiday, National Grand Marnier Day and Steel Day,
Nice. All right.
which
Perfect.
I am celebrating with the most basic but essential of French drinks, red wine.
Oh my god.
I have
How
a
do you say like
Bordeaux. I
okay.
have a
Okay.
Bordeaux.
Okay. All right.
So I made an effort,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I am
Mhm.
I am celebrating a little bit basic style.
I I I thought you were gonna say let's see the what is it? The French 75.
Oh, I love that drink. I
That's what I
do.
so
But we
lemon
have a bottle
juice
of
and
we have a bottle of champagne that we're actually saving for something. So I didn't want to be a
mm,
jerk and
actual
drink it.
champagne.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
No, we're saving it for something. So I didn't want to be a jerk and drink it while Chris is out of town. So,
Right. Yep. All right.
but
Well, very
I
good.
was close, man, because I love a good French 75.
No one would know. You
No,
have it, it's our little secret. No one will know.
until Chris comes home.
Yeah.
Woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Chris does, yeah.
Yeah, right. That was a perfect impression of Chris right
Yep.
there. Woman.
Mhm. Alright, well,
So
very good.
yes.
Both celebrating. That's good.
Hmm.
How was your week? Was it a
Good.
celebratory worthy?
It's been busy for sure. Chris is actually the one with the celebratory news, which is why I'm saving the champagne for when we both come home. Um, but otherwise, it's been a good busy week. I've been solo parenting, so that's like three jobs in and of itself.
Yeah,
But still found time to watch some stuff.
okay.
Chris and I, before he left, we finished The Good Place season 4. Very strong ending. I thought it wrapped up really well, and yeah, just really enjoyed that show. It's lighthearted but deep at the same time. The cast
Okay,
crushes it. Can't say enough good things about The Good Place.
nice.
And then also before Chris left, we watched The Boys, of course, which we'll talk about later because we're that's one of our shows. So I had to like make sure to squeeze it in before he left. Um, and then as he's been gone, I binge watched a series I knew Chris wouldn't like, um, and finished the entire thing. It's pretty short. It's from Netflix. It's called Boo Bitch, and it's about the friendship between two high school girls, one of whom is I will not reveal too many details, but one of them becomes a ghost.
I was gonna guess that. Okay, alright,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but it's cute. It's like a cute teen comedy, but with some drama. Had a couple of good twists. I wouldn't say it's like amazing. You have to see it, but it's like cute, kind of fun to watch, and it's a little bit of good like background TV.
Okay, nice.
So
Where is that on?
Netflix.
It is, okay. Okay,
Yep. Yep. So I would recommend it. I mean, among the many teen shows, it's kind of a cute twist on, high school drama.
right.
And then yeah, been playing some Hades.
Alright.
That's taken up a lot of my time. I was getting a little obsessive for Chris's taste, staying up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing runs through that. And I figured, what the hell, while he's gone, I will make my runs through hell, literally.
You're like, "I can play one-handed." You got Everett. in one.
Right?
I can do it.
Just patting her.
Yeah.
"Shh, it's okay, mommy's gonna make it through the underworld this time."
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Well, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, busy
But,
week.
yeah. My week's been busy as well, but not so much with pop culture things.
Mhm.
We were in Savannah, so was
How long were you guys
hanging out.
there?
It was 5 days,
Okay,
so that includes
pretty
travel.
decent.
So yeah, it
Oh,
was
okay.
not that long, and it we do trips now. Like this is our anniversary trip,
Mhm,
so we do it usually now where it's like you try to drop yourself in the a centralized area where you want to be, and then
mhm.
just do a lot of walking. And
Sure.
so for what we had around and everything, I think it was kind of the perfect amount of time. That's really
Awesome.
nice. So it was
What made
very
you guys
hot.
pick Savannah?
Well, Ashley's always really want to go. It's technically the
Okay.
most, is say it's the most haunted city in America. Lots of history there and stuff like that. So we stayed in a
Sure.
hotel that's very old and used to be a makeshift hospital and all that sort of thing. So didn't really do any ghost stuff per se, but just you were in haunted places, you know.
Yeah, in the
So
territory.
yeah, so, a lot of good food and very nice hotel. It was relaxing. Saw a lot of history. I'm reminded of when we were in Salem and Boston. So
Okay.
for you guys, and just like, oh yeah, it's just all the history that's around you is so cool. So was to probably the most impressive cathedral I've ever been in. St. John's Cathedral, very
Okay.
very beautiful. So yeah. I did, however, in the evenings, finish reading Die Dark. It's by the same person that did Doro Hey Doro, which is on
Mhm,
Netflix and very zany, crazy
mhm,
anime. I'm reading the manga. I've read volume 1 through 3, which is now current, and the fourth one is coming out pretty soon. Actually, I kind of waited on because I read volume 1, and then volume 3 wasn't coming out for months. So I'm like,
mhm.
well, all right, I'll just wait. Now it's close. 3 came out, so I reread the first one, read the current, and it's very funny. It's very dark humor, zany characters. They have a crossword in the back of each one, kind of like for like what you've read through it. And I don't know, it's really good. I'm enjoying it. If you're into that style of thing,
Sure.
it's worth it. So, and then yeah, I picked up a few other comic books then too. There's a couple cool comic stores down there. So, but I didn't get
Nice.
to really reading them yet. So yeah, that is about it. Um, News. We have a
News.
few stories running the gamut of content. Started out with video games. You were just talking about Hades, game
Mhm.
very different in tone from Kirby. Uh,
Especially this Kirby.
yeah, Kirby Dream Buffet was
Mhm,
announced, and it's coming out this year.
mhm.
Pretty cool because we just had a Kirby game, but this is different. Looks like it's designed to be more of a party sort of thing,
Right.
multiplayer, race to the end, eat the most food, kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
did you get to see the little preview of this?
I did, yeah. It's cute. I mean, sorry, I'm just, like, clicking on it right now again.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's cute. Like, it's a like you said, it's like a fun party style game. Sometimes you just need, like, not dramatic, not like, "Oh my god, solo player
Yep.
darkness." You just need adorable little beings eating adorable cakes.
Yeah. So it's a fun surprise. I think it's gonna be good. Good
Mhm,
time for a party or something like that. So yeah. That's it for video game news. But I had mentioned I got a couple comic books this week at
mhm,
the comic shop. I also pre-ordered some comics from this thing called the Rippaverse. It's
mhm.
a new comic starting with an issue. graphic novel called Isom. That's the main character. It's a thing that has been kind of advertised. I shouldn't say advertised. It's been talked about for a long time. People were waiting
Hmm.
for the reveal, what this is going to be or whatever. It's supposed to be. There's lots of alternative indie comics out there. This was going to be a big one. And so they finally on Monday. I felt really bad. I was on a tour of a beautiful cemetery in
Hmm.
Savannah, and the pre-order campaign was going live like when we're have this tour. And so I'm like, I don't know how fast this stuff is going to sell out or whatever. So I'm sitting there trying to order order stuff on my phone, whatever. So I felt bad. I felt very rude. Once I got things done, I was very attentive the rest of the tour. So um
Your tour
but
guide's
anyways,
listening.
yeah, right.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hand out any cards to the podcast to anyone, so yeah. But anyways, the campaign has hit a big milestone just this evening. It's already since launching Monday to now, it's raised $2 million.
Hmm.
So it's been a success thus far,
Yeah.
and the books start shipping in July, or sorry, in August. So I'm excited to read a new superhero comic.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
transition. Hmm.
No, I was just gonna say I watched the YouTube,
Oh yeah.
kind of advertisement for the Rippaverse, and I was just thinking like I really like the concept of it, like uh the kind of investment in the rejuvenation of American comics and like bringing things back to life and like this commitment to, hey, we have a comic, if things deviate it's going to be like very small. We'll explain the hell out of it. We won't just
Right.
like retcon for fun. Um, so I like everything that that they were talking about, and I thought that you know it's a great way to address, I think, a lot of the issues that people have been talking about with American comics right now.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like, if just looking at this more basic thing, some of the biggest movies, entertainment properties now are comic book based movies. Even the
Hmm.
show we're going to talk about today, The Boys, is comic book
Right.
based. They're really, it's very weird that there seems to be no space or very little space in pop culture for a thriving American comic book industry
Hmm.
when the biggest properties are from comic books. It's
Hmm.
just weird, no correlation there.
Hmm.
And there's definitely a myriad of reasons for that. And so I
Hmm.
think someone that is starting their own thing from the ground up, that's really invested and cares about it, is trying to give their audience what they want. I think it's good. I think we're going to keep seeing more and more of this pop up,
Hmm.
and yeah, I hope there's lots of success.
Yeah, hope it does well.
So pre-order your books.
Mhm.
Get him in. Um,
But don't while you're on a cemetery tour.
yeah, yeah. I mean, have you? So, like, for instance, you've seen most of the superhero movies, or really a lot of them.
Yeah.
Have you ever read any comic books? Has
Yeah.
ever like piqued your interest to read a few?
Um, so funnily enough, so I have read comic books usually independently of um the movies that have been out, because I've actually
Hmm.
been fairly satisfied. That's the problem. I feel like I'm fairly satisfied with the movies that I care about, and so I don't feel like I need to go to the comics to get like, oh, there should be a better story for this. Do you
Sure.
know what I mean? Like when Iron Man first came out, and I was just like, the first Iron Man movie was just so good that I was just like, I'm good. Like I don't know
Right.
that I need some more. Um, but I've read things independently of like the Marvel movies, or the DC universe. I've read a lot of X-Men, probably my most read comics, because I loved that show when I was younger.
Hmm.
But funnily enough, the recent slew of episodes from The Boys have kind of got me interested in reading the comics, because Amazon, while I find this annoying sometimes, I've really enjoyed it with The Boys. They have those like little screens that pop up that tell you like kind of fun facts and trivia about the scenes that you're
Mm,
watching. And for the last couple of episodes, I'm sort of like, oh, they're paying tribute to this thing in the comics. That's really cool. Like, I'd really love to see where that comes from. So,
sure. Yeah. And I just think, I think there should be that. It's interesting you say that, like about Iron Man stuff. I always feel like for me, if I really love something and I can't get enough of it, then I want to search out the other things. And this seems to like you mentioned with X-Men, you love the
sure.
cartoon, so maybe that makes you read a few of the comics. And this
Yeah.
definitely applies in anime. And people are like, well, I watch the anime like that, so then I go and read the manga for it, and vice versa.
Right.
Um, so it's just weird. And some of it I feel like is maybe just, a lot of brought up in this campaign, where do
Mhm.
you start? If you're going
Yes.
to read Iron Man, what are you going to read?
Right.
Where do
Like,
you
I would have
go,
no idea where to go.
Yeah.
Plus, like, for me, I mean, I brought up Iron Man because I love Iron Man, but also, like, spoilers, like, his end in the Marvel universe
Mm.
on the silver screen anyway, was very brutal for me, so now I'm like, I don't know if I wanna go and have those associations again.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
From that, something I'm very excited for to real world sadness. Seem like we
Mhm.
keep having these more and more often, or just we've had a run of them, I guess.
Yeah.
James Caan, a famous actor, has passed away. Um, he was pretty old, 82,
Mhm.
but yeah, nonetheless, no longer with us. Are you familiar with much of James Caan's work?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's an actor that I've seen in various films over the years. I've seen probably two of his most famous, The Godfather, of course, and then Elf,
Hmm.
and then which I was a late comer to Elf, so I had no idea like the power that that held at first until I watched it. And then I haven't seen probably his third most famous, which is Misery with Kathy Bates.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a classic that I haven't seen
Yeah.
either. We should maybe watch it for Halloween or something. Like
Yeah,
it's
I've heard some just wild things about that film that I just have never, like, been drawn in to watch it, but now I just feel like I have to.
mm,
Like, it's finally time to bite the bullet and just do it.
sure. Yep. Yeah, so I'm sort of the same familiarity. Um, that's just one of those people that again I've seen around. He's done some voice
Mhm,
acting work, I think, in Family Guy and sort of things like that. So,
mhm.
but
Well, and I mean, uh, he's got a famous son as well, Scott Caan,
oh,
who I mean, famous-ish, like, very, very TV show famous. He's, I
okay.
think, currently on Hawaii Five-O, was on Entourage, for those who have,
Oh, this guy. Okay, I
yeah.
didn't never made that connection. All right.
Yep, yep.
Interesting. Hmm, okay.
So,
Yeah, you're right. He was that's what I've seen him from is Hawaii Five-O.
yep, yep. I figured that and Entourage would probably be like the two biggest name drops I could grab from his filmography. I don't offhand know of anything else that's big.
Yeah. Well, this says too that his kid was in Ocean's 11. Guess I don't
Oh my
remember that,
god,
but
right. Yeah. Yes,
huh.
that's right. I completely forgot about. Oh my gosh, that's a good film. I forget about that. Probably because the others were just,
Sure.
you
Sure.
know.
Yeah, so James Caan had 5 kids.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
yeah. All right, well, thoughts with the family there.
Mhm.
Lost another
Very sad.
celebrity.
Very sad.
Speaking of losing things, though far less serious, Raised by Wolves has been canceled, it
Ugh.
seems. A show that we have covered very much here.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, there was a clear struggle at the end of season 1 into season 2. but I really felt like they had turned a corner on their weirdest storyline and were bringing everything back to an interesting place. I was really into it again, because
Mhm.
I know we closed off our season one conversation. I was like, whoa, that twist, which if you know,
Yeah.
you know. Um, how are they ever gonna, explain this away? And season two did a really good job, I think, of coming back from like what could have been just a massive WTF.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm sad. I'm sad that we're not gonna get now season three.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I really, really enjoyed uh, eh, season 1 was very refreshing. I was very
Mhm.
excited, and then it sort of hit that ending where it's like, wow, that's a left turn. And then but season 2 really went with it, and it made sense. They clearly had a
Yes.
plan, they knew where it was going, all this sort of thing. So introduced new characters that I liked, more interesting ideas.
Mhm.
So I have an article here from Distractify,
Oh,
and
okay.
I mean, I don't know much about them, but they have this here that is talking about how it kind of was canceled because of the merger with Discovery and such. So
Hmm.
let's see. Says fans quickly fell in love with the streaming platform, but now, thanks to Discovery and Warner Media merger, many shows are getting canceled. Um, ba-da-da-ba-ba-bum. See.
Oh, so I'd heard this. Sorry to left turn it for just a second, but
Hmm.
I'd heard about TNT and TBS no longer developing their scripted series because of this
Right.
merge. So I didn't realize that this was now having like bigger ripple effects.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
right. Yeah.
Because they're
Um,
they're they're blaming it on this, which I mean, oh
the
yeah, we have
reality is they
10
didn't make the
cancellations on
money.
this. Well, we have 10 cancellations on the CW, including Batwoman and Legacies.
Hmm.
That's interesting to me because I know Legacies had a big following.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting where the
Huh.
axe decides to fall, and I still
Yeah.
always wonder what the metrics look like for them.
Right.
Um, because we obviously don't see those generally. Um,
Ooh. So the actor who plays father took to Twitter to talk about this, that there might be a chance they can continue in a new home.
yeah, yep. Sounds like he's campaigning for it. Sounds like there's
Right.
a uh, petition out there,
Right.
and he said here that as we speak, Scott Free Productions and the creatives are pushing for the show to be continued in other homes, sharing the reception and pull of the show for other
Mhm.
storytellers. So I'm asking for action. So it sounds
Okay.
like they have stuff planned out. Like they're ready to go.
Right.
We weren't expecting this, so it's not like, oh well, we sure were waiting to be renewed before we worked on the next thing.
Right.
And it according to him, it has a very strong international audience. And so the way we see
I
a
believe
lot of
it.
times that stuff where you have like Star Trek, a certain show, well, they don't have, say, Paramount Plus
Mhm.
available in Europe, so it gets put on Netflix or something.
Mhm.
And so I could definitely see someone else. I could see that if
Yeah.
Warner or whatever is willing to part with it. And I'm sure if they can make any money on it, I don't see why not. So
Mhm. Yeah, it
yeah.
sounds like the team is technically still together as they kind of await maybe a final fate.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
So,
I just think I thought it was weird they're blaming the merger. I mean, understandably, there'll be changes made during the merger,
mhm.
but the important line here is Warner Media's asset projection is 500 million lower than expected.
Mm,
So they were going to cut things.
yeah.
So, but
It
yeah,
sucks that this is one of them.
yep. Fingers crossed. Find home for it. So, right at the end of the show last week, I think.
Mhm.
So, raised by wolves, we heard about that then as well. I don't know if it was Alan that brought that up or whatever. But
Yep.
then when you guys mentioned this as well,
Yes, I
Duffer
found
Brothers.
this. Yeah, from cancellation to launch. We're kind of riding those polar opposites tonight. So we just found out that the Duffer Brothers, the creators behind the Netflix hit Stranger Things, are launching Upside Down Pictures, which love the title of the studio.
Yep.
Um, and they already have 5 upcoming projects in the hopper. Ah, couldn't couldn't help
Very good.
myself.
Very
I
good.
couldn't.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry. I really couldn't help myself there. But they already have 5 upcoming projects that are in various stages of being ready to launch. Some I am excited about. Some I am decidedly not.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So we have differing opinions on this. I think we have some same opinions and some differing opinions. But the
Okay.
first thing I think we have the same opinion on is there's a play based on the world of Stranger Things that I think is a bad idea. It's just a bad idea because the the production value of setting Stranger Things and the things that it can do, like being in the upside down and the worlds it can create on a television screen or on a silver screen, just in that medium will not translate to a stage.
Yeah. I I
They
just
could have a cool story to tell, but
yeah.
I just feel it should be divorced from the world of Stranger Things then.
Okay. So it is anyways set in the world of Stranger Things. It's not a retelling of Stranger Things,
Right,
is what
right.
it seems, right? So
But for me, like either it's set in the world of Stranger Things and you need to at least mention, show, do something with the upside down because that's such an integral part of what makes Stranger Things itself.
mhm,
Otherwise, just divorce it from the world of Stranger Things. Do
mm,
you know what I mean? Like, just don't even make that connection. If you have a cool story to tell, just like don't set it maybe in Hawkins, Indiana, then, or don't tie it to 11 or
okay.
Will or the buyers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're either in it or you're not.
I
And if you're
guess
in the world, then I think you have to do the upside down. And then I don't think that translates on a stage.
I think I'm somewhere more moderate on this in the sense that I'm happy that it's not a retelling of what already exists. That's
Agreed.
always my big problem. And I don't think this is exactly bad. My one concern is that right, there's going to be some level of production that's required to make this awesome, which I think that places can do, but it's going to have really small reach then. You know, a lot of plays, if they're going to tour the country and some of that,
Hmm.
it's not, not everything is able to do that exactly. Not every place is able to have such a production that they
Hmm.
have, you know, like on Broadway, when I saw a play there, it's like, wow, it's amazing. Not everywhere has
Right.
that. So traveling around to do it, it just is going to be a more limited audience. So is this story important in this world? Because if it is, you're really reducing your
Right.
reach. But maybe it's
Right.
just a offshoot enough that it can be fun, and it's really not going to matter if you've seen it, but it's enriching if you do.
Yeah. See, to me,
So,
then I just want it to be like totally divorced from Stranger Things.
uh-huh.
Because
Sure.
I agree with you, like, your production value is going to suffer at some point, which means you're either cheapening Stranger Things for the audience who came out excited to see it, or you have, like, such a limited audience that's gonna forgive you for lower production value that you're really, like, limiting who's gonna be there,
Mm,
and then what's the point of that?
sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not thrilled about
Sure.
piece of it. I'm not particularly thrilled about a Stranger Things spin-off series.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I might give it a shot depending on what it is. They've been very close-lipped about the storyline. Apparently, one of the Duffer brothers was giving an interview saying like Finn Wolfhard just like randomly guessed it, and he was just shocked
Okay.
because nobody else has been able to guess it.
Okay.
So, interested to see what they're thinking and what's like super shocking, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm intrigued enough to give it a shot, but we'll see.
Okay.
So I guess lessening degrees of like here. A live action series adaptation of the manga and anime series Death Note.
I mean, I almost decided to just do my own video and put it live after hearing about this, just to complain about it. Like, can we
uh,
just quit? You
wait, you're
know,
not excited? I am
my God.
shocked. Shocked.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
okay. I'm done. You go.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I
It's
get
been
tired of
done.
complaining about it. It has
It's
been
been
done
done.
already.
This
Some
particular one, even like you're not
right.
even choosing like a new anime to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's Death Note is still great. You can go read it, you can go watch
Mm-hmm.
it. It's still great. I
Mm-hmm.
would again be more inclined to I think my position is shifting to if we're going to change mediums for properties that they should be, they should be spin-offs or something else enriching the world and not
Mm-hmm.
retellings
Yeah.
because, so it's my issue I have with The Last of Us coming to HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's apparently just retelling the game. Well, I don't know. Why do I want to watch the show and then is that going to make me play the game if I know it's the same thing exactly? I don't know. Maybe, maybe, but I would rather them just tell a story in the Last of Us world. And
Sure.
then that would, if you're interested in that world, you can now explore it further with the game. That's,
Well, I don't know because I mean, for what I mean, I agree with you in principle. There is something about like why am I watching this like when I could already play the game?
mhm.
But like we do that so much with books.
Yep,
Do you know what I mean? Like so much television or so many movies are taken from books, and they're not always faithful adaptations, which can be interesting or they can be terrible. So we take risks that way. Or like I'm thinking about The Witcher,
yep,
you know.
hmm
There's sometimes enough difference that it can be good.
yep, yep. It's hard to to draw lines in the sand and say what should be done. I feel
Yeah.
like I do feel like it can vary. Things can be handled well when they're handled with
Mhm.
care and attention. Because I just talked about anime and manga, the adaptations, the same sort of thing there. Often they're very similar, and people
Mhm.
consume both
Yep.
because they're a little different experiences, even though you're getting generally the same. Sometimes
Right.
people just out of curiosity, yeah, you love the original thing. It's like you love the book, you love the manga, and then you want to see the live action or the animated version of it. So, like,
Mhm.
I get that. My preference in general is still going to be to expand as opposed to retell.
Sure.
And I'm
That's
just
fair.
not a fan of, especially in a visual medium. It's still a show. It's a TV
Yeah.
show called Death Note, and now there's going to be a TV show called Death Note, and it's going to be the same story, but they'll, I don't know, just it's also one of those things where not every story translates to a new
Mhm.
medium. We've talked about this before too. It's
Right.
just not, it's easy to. It seems very easy for Hollywood to forget about what makes animation special or what makes
Right.
film special or whatever, and I don't know. Then you lose a piece of the soul of the thing that you know, you're
Mhm.
changing here. So
Yeah, it'd be fun to see, taking on a different dark supernatural anime or manga, because I think the Duffer Brothers do monster production really well. They've
hmm
had some great creatures that have come from the upside down
hmm
in the world of Stranger Things, and I think taking those talents and applying them elsewhere is a great thing. Um, but yeah, just apply them elsewhere is
yeah.
basically my point.
I just still it's just one of those things again where why do you have to take Death Note? If you love Death Note, be inspired by Death Note And write a
Mhm.
thing. Ashley's. I found one a manga in the store that was like, "Oh, this is reminds me of Death Note." And I told Ashley
Mhm.
about it, and she's reading it now and likes it. And it is similar to Death Note, but it's
Mhm.
not the same thing. It is different, but it seems clear to me that they were inspired by. Well, if the Duffer
Mhm.
Brothers can be inspired by Death Note,
Yeah. I mean,
come up with your own thing.
well, we do have here, it says a live action series adaptation. I mean, they don't really give a lot of details of like it's a retelling. So maybe it'll be something different. Maybe there'll be a twist. Maybe it's an inspired
Well,
by.
no, because it's called Death Note.
Well,
It
it's
is
called
like,
Death Notes, unless that's a
well, that's
typo.
okay. Then they're ready for a then they're ready for a lawsuit.
We're getting down to the minutia of one
Uh-huh.
letter here.
I mean,
Death Notes.
the point of Death Note is what would you do if you had like basically no chance of being caught and you could at will kill people.
Hmm.
No one would know about it, whatever. And so would you take the temptation of trying to make the world a better place,
Hmm.
or would you have like the moral like veracity to stop yourself and
Fortitude.
not do this? Right.
Hmm.
That's a good thing to explore, and you can explore that in a myriad of ways. You don't have to take this. So,
Yeah. Well, we'll
anyways,
see. We'll see what
yeah.
this series
I
is. If
won't
it's
see.
Death
I
Note,
mean,
I will.
yeah.
I probably
Okay.
will.
Okay.
Especially if they're going to continue to call it Death Notes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see. I'll maybe see if it's the same or different.
Okay.
But yeah, so we have um, two other things here: an adaptation of *The Talisman*, a 1984 novel by Stephen King, and then an original series that they're going to partner with creators of *Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance* um, to create. No details other than these are the two creators that they're collaborating with. So maybe continuing Dark Crystal, maybe doing a spin-off or related,
Sure.
maybe something totally different, who knows. Um,
Yeah.
I know Dark Crystal has kind of its own cult following, so there'd be some people I think that would be happy to see that get a resurgence.
Right.
Um, and then of course the article closes out by talking about, they're going to do the fifth and final season of Stranger Things, and that is, I believe, going to appear in 2023.
Okay. Wow.
Um,
I mean, it
I
must be hard at work on that
thought
already.
I thought I saw that, or maybe it's early 2024, but it was sooner than I had thought it was going to be. So, but it was also nice to get a confirmation that the fifth season of Stranger Things will be its final season,
Right. Yep.
because it
Yep.
could be one of those shows that like drags on forever.
Yep.
Good for them for wrapping it up.
Absolutely. Well, good luck to them. Good luck.
Hmm.
More TV news. So we've mentioned a little
Speaking
bit.
of series,
Yeah.
that
House of the Dragon.
that should know when to wrap up, but
Yeah.
don't.
Well, right. Yes. Or a series that should go
It's
longer.
original.
Should have gone longer. Yeah. 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 Game of Thrones spin-off
Hmm.
series, House of the Dragon. We've had a
Hmm.
couple trailers from this. We've seen some photos. We've talked about Matt Smith's wig, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. But we have another story now from Bounding in the Comics, and I just want to say that House of the Dragon, I was already like off put in general by just how Game of Thrones ended. That I'm watching you now, House of Dragon. I got my eyes
I
on
thought you were
you.
talking to me for a second. I was
No,
like,
no,
I
I'm
didn't have
talking
anything to do with the
into
ending of Game
the
of
the
Thrones. Don't you put that on
showrunners,
me.
the showrunners for House of the Dragon. They just their quote. They have an interview here. Their quote
Yeah.
is they want to let's see, want to not misquote them here.
Hmm.
Okay, so speaking with Entertainment Weekly,
Hmm.
um, explained that House Valerian was explicitly race swapped because, quote, it was very important for a showrunner and I to create a show that was not another bunch of white people on the screen.
Mhm.
Wanted a way to wanted to find a way to put diversity in the show, but we didn't want to do it in a way that felt it was an afterthought or worse, tokenism, he added.
Mhm.
To me, the part about this, it was very important for us to do this. Says to me, your priorities are in the wrong place when creating this show. So when I was gonna be already coming into this timid.
Mhm.
You're under a fine tooth comb now,
Mhm.
showrunners. So yeah, this is coming this year yet, right?
Yeah.
This fall. So
Yeah. Yeah, so I read the article sort of like wondering based on that quote, which I think they definitely included in the title to be like clickbaity
for sure.
and which I mean can't fault you there. But I read through the rest of the article and it was less like random than I had thought it was. Because they talked about Martin talking about the very same idea that he was maybe gonna race swap, this particular house or another particular house anyway, and he sort of like started maybe thinking about doing that and then didn't, but then regretted it and was like, "Oh, maybe I should have done it. Well, it's too late now. My books are out."
Hmm.
So, like the decision to me was less random than that quote made it seem.
Yep.
So I liked that they talked to Martin about it and he was like, "Yeah, I think this is cool. Like I like the idea of doing this." So they kind of like got his blessing on it.
Right.
But yeah, it was annoying to me that like the first part of the article was just like clickbaity, like, "Oh, we just wanted to do this," and it made it seem like very arbitrary. And I was like, actually, there was. I mean, I guess I could be assigning them too much credit to, that they like did this whole thought out plan, but it seemed more like a mixture of like serendipity, reasoning, like there's something to it, like George R. R. Martin thought about it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
I
a
won't
weird
give
it was a weird article.
I won't give him as much credit as you, but I will. I anytime a show is going to be made and they're going to involve the original author, they're going to talk to that person about it. That's a bonus, of course.
Yeah.
We've had so it's there's no doubt as much as we've had problems with the end of Game of Thrones that George R. R. Martin was involved. He's
Mhm.
definitely involved in that show, and he's involved in this show too. So
Mhm.
absolutely credit on them there. The opposite of what we would get from like Lucasfilm. What I wants nothing to do with what George Lucas has to say.
Yeah.
Uh, Keep quiet, George. I don't want to hear about it. So they get that. Um, but anytime it to me, if your priorities aren't on telling the story, staying true to the story, then I'm worried about where your
Mhm.
I won't say what your motivations are, but just like what your focus is. Where
Mhm.
how do you align your priorities when you're creating your show? So,
Sure. Sure. Yeah,
um,
I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth on this story. Like I uh I like that they're at least thinking about like not, just race swapping for fun or like, they thought about like, oh, I just don't want it to be like tokenism, like we have some thought behind this. And I think it's really interesting that Martin had his like interview talking about the fact that like this particular house, if they were um black persons, would they still be obsessed with the same things that like the Targaryens are, like blood purity and their own lineage and like, the I don't know, the purity of their house and whatever. So it's just like really interesting to me to like have this come to fruition and sort of like see these same things kind of reflected in these two houses as like mirrors of each other or like foils against one another. So I'm
I'm
hoping
guessing.
I'm hoping it plays out well. It could be good, but it could also just be like a huge bomb. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and regardless of this or not, I'm guessing we'll hear. thoughts from the showrunners and probably Martin more as we grow closer to the show,
Yeah.
and we're gonna find out if this was like just Game of Thrones was sort of lightning in a bottle, or if it can
Hmm.
be repeated.
Yeah, or if this could be a
The good
universe.
parts can be repeated. Yeah,
Yeah. We all know what the good and bad parts are.
yeah. Let's see. Then getting closer to our topic at hand.
Speaking of spin-offs.
Right. Story just broke today that a television show called Gen B in the
Mhm.
boys universe is being made. So yeah,
I'm
spinoff from the boys.
I'm embarrassed to admit it took me like a beat to realize Gen V
Okay.
for
Yeah.
V.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I was trying to think of like Gen 5, like
Yeah.
why,
Right.
you know what I mean? It just like popped into my head and I was like, why? And then I was like, oh, Andrea, V, Vought, V. Come on, you
Yep.
can get
Yep.
there.
Mhm. Hey, I understand. It happens to the best of us.
It does.
Where knowing your Roman numerals is actually
A detriment.
worse for you. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's a college spinoff.
Mhm.
So it's a one like superhero university in America, and we're gonna see college kids going there. I think it's
I
gonna
actually
be.
think Oh, sorry.
No,
I
go
cut you
ahead.
off. I was just gonna say, I actually think it's really ballsy to set it in college. There's so
Yeah.
many shows that start in high school and then they like hit the college years and they just die because
Mm,
what works in high school doesn't work in college. So I feel like there are so few shows that take the risk of jumping into college.
sure.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's ballsy.
Okay. I think it works perfectly with their like attitude for debauchery.
Yeah, I
Colleges
agree.
and
They
partying
could
is kind of what.
never do a high school show of this. I
Right.
guess I won't
Right.
say never, but
Well,
like it would be
it wouldn't
very
feel like the
less
same thing.
believable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It
So,
had to
but
be.
yeah, so I think it's like it's a risk though.
Hmm. Yeah. So to my knowledge, there's not a comic book for this. It's its own thing
Yeah, I
now.
don't
I
think
I don't
so.
know. I don't know that. Not familiar with the comic books.
Mhm.
So, um,
I think you're correct that there isn't a comic map for this show.
but it's interesting for sure.
Interesting
So,
cast. They've got a couple of people from um, Netflix's The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and then
okay.
some names I haven't heard in a while: Patrick Schwarzenegger and Sean Patrick Thomas.
Okay.
That's some '90s throwback right there.
Sean Patrick Thomas.
Yes.
Should I know who that is?
Um, Not necessarily. He was
Mm,
in a lot of like '90s teen movies. Save the Last Dance is probably one of his big ones. And then I know he
okay.
was in a bigger
Oh, yeah.
TV show. Oh, that I'm
Okay, so
not
yeah,
thinking
known
of right
for
now.
Save the Last Dance, Barbershop, Cruel Intentions, and Halloween Resurrection.
Yes. Oh my god, that's right. I forgot he was in Cruel Intentions. That's hilarious.
I just see, yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar in that, which reminded me of Buffy. Which was like, oh, yeah, I gotta start watching that again. And
Yes!
then, and then, I
I
was
mean,
gonna
what?
ask if you read any of the Buffy comic books.
Have.
You have? Okay.
I have.
You like them? Because I heard there's some Angel ones that are really good.
Yes, there are. There are.
Okay.
Um, I I like the essence of the Buffy comics. I don't like everything about them.
Okay.
Some of the character storylines I'm not as big a fan of.
Would they be more or less enjoyable having not a ton of familiarity with the show, would
You
you
need to
say?
have familiarity with the show
Okay.
because the Buffy comics like pick off where the show left. And
Oh,
there's a lot that happens to those characters that you need at least some base of a background. You probably don't have to watch every episode of Buffy to get it, but you'd need more than just like I've watched a handful of the first season.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyways, we don't know much about this spin-off series,
Hmm.
which has nothing
Just
to
that
do
it's
with Buffy
happening.
or Sarah Michelle Gellar or anything like that. But yeah,
I
it's happening. So be excited if you are.
was trying to think. I know Jensen Ackles made like a cameo on a handful of supernatural shows, but I don't think he made one on Buffy.
Ah,
I was trying to connect
trying
some
to find
dots.
transition there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
trying to connect some dots, but I don't think he did.
okay. All right. Well, shucks.
Shucks. That would have been perfect.
Anyways, the boys. Getting right
Mhm.
into it. Season 3, episodes 3 and 4. We covered 1 and
Mhm.
2 a couple weeks ago, so go ahead and catch up on
Yes.
those if you're interested. Otherwise, we will get full of spoilers
Mhm.
now and pick up on episode 3, which has a very disturbing opening. Like I
90s
just
opening.
ah, I ha-
Yeah.
I hate the pageantry stuff for little children. It's uncomfortable to watch, and the
Oh my
parents who put their
god.
kids through that.
Yes. Starlight's mom is a show mom to like the uncomfortable nth degree. Like she was
Mhm.
just so cringe. Although she did make me feel good as a mom that I will never be that.
Yeah, right.
It's just like
Yeah.
watching that was enough to like stick with me being like, don't ever do that.
Mhm.
Not that I
And how
would,
many
but oof.
no little I won't say no, but almost no little girls probably get into this of their own accord. They're so
Yeah.
young. They're not like, they're pushed into it,
Yeah.
that the parents want them to do it. So,
Well, and it's sad because there's probably, there's like you said, there's probably like one or two little girls, a small handful that do get into it because they just think like, "Ooh, this is cool," or like moms start out with good intentions, like, "Oh, my
right,
daughter's so into dress up and she loves to sing. Like, why don't I, take her to do something fun?" And then it just like morphs into this like all-consuming, hideous, like
right.
push your pain aside and bring it on the stage, make mommy proud
Mhm,
nonsense. Oof. Yeah, that was bad.
mhm. So we hadn't seen anything from Starlight's mother in a while. So we get a little bit of that.
Yeah, she can
Um,
she can crawl back now. That's I've had my fill.
yeah. So we open seeing kind of the adversity that she's had to deal with for a
Her
while,
coping
and
mechanisms.
yeah, and gets to later see how that's going to come in handy, I guess.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and then we also get the we episode 2 ended with Homelander kind of giving his speech, sort of is trying to break free from the structure of the control of Vought.
right.
And people are flying into panic mode, but turns out their audience for Homelander, the target audience, is digging it. So Homelander's very excited about this, despite not
Too
caring what the people
excited.
think. Right?
Too
Yeah,
excited,
too
Homelander.
excited. Yep, definitely too excited. Um,
And
yeah,
then we get this like weird like wordplay sexual encounter between Homelander and Ashley. It's just the worst. Not
yeah,
because of her name. I love you, Ashley. But she is just like, ugh, trash human.
yeah, yeah. Well, and
Which
she's
I suppose it could affect you. Like her entire job is to just like look at social media all day, all the time, think about like
right.
what hits on social media. And I feel like that would just kind of turn you into a trash person.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like we see the promotions being said and all that stuff, and like it to me, it is emblematic of how stuff probably gets done a lot, where it's people are too involved in like trying to cater everywhere all the time, and there's no sense of being genuine. There's no
Yeah.
sense of like what we actually think, we actually care about, what we actually want to talk about or be or whatever, and
Right.
and people can see that. I think more and more that we become aware of, yeah, the influence of social media or whatever. And so this to me is a thing from the show that rings pretty true in the way that these campaigns and ads and like team selection and all this is just a manufactured yuck kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so we see a number of these scenarios playing out in these episodes, including one with an A Train, which was a hilarious ad. That was hilarious.
So you know what it's from, right?
I
It's
maybe
the
there's a reference
Kendall
I'm not getting.
Jenner. It's the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad. Have you not
I
seen that?
I don't think so.
It's literally a shot for shot remake, except I mean almost to a T.
She doesn't put her
Almost.
hands between like protesters
She
and police, does she?
she does. She like walks up and like gets in between them and like does I mean she doesn't speed in there because she's not A trained, so that part doesn't make sense. But like yeah,
Uh,
she like literally like gives the police officer a Pepsi and he drinks it and like everybody's friends. It's literally the same thing.
huh. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Um,
watch it when you have time. It's just as cringe in real life with a Pepsi and Kendall Jenner as it is with A Train and his weirdo energy drink.
I'll have to try to put this in the chat, or not in the chat. Sorry, in the video description we posted on YouTube, because I'm watching it now. If I'm wondering if I've ever seen this. I don't know. I don't know when this was.
Yeah,
Okay, this was 2017,
yeah.
so quite a while
She
ago
got she got
already.
some serious clapback for this commercial. She took a very big negative hit
Okay,
because
so
people were
even
like, "This is fake. This is stupid. Like, you can't. You're just like jumping on a bandwagon trying to use like social justice movements and like protests to like sell some Pepsi. Pepsi doesn't just like magically solve these very real problems that people have."
it doesn't. What I thought everybody
What?
could just drink
What?
a
Just share a
Pepsi.
Pepsi and just be like,
Uh huh.
cool. If that's true, then on the screen, if you're watching video, Homelander and Butcher would just be cracking open a can of Pepsi and
Yeah, yeah,
cheers.
yeah. Mhm.
We'd have no
It,
show.
this ad is definitely too long.
It is.
Um, but it's funny because yeah, she's even like in a photo shoot
Yep.
and then has to stop.
Yep.
to ch-
Yep.
oh, okay. So she's walking out with a Pepsi. Um,
He's doing the slow crack.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Goes over to the officer, hands the Pepsi.
Mhm.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad you brought this up because I did not know that.
I'm glad
That's
this
funny.
show brought it back just to like troll that one more time. It was well timed. I completely had forgotten about that until Chris was like, "Oh, so A Train is Kendall Jenner," and I was like, "Oh, mind blown! It is."
That's funny. So yeah, we're getting a bunch of that, and Homelander is making it. You know, he's making it clear. We kind of get in this episode. He's trying to go around and
Mhm.
really put the boot down on a lot of people. Hey, I'm back in charge here. You want to think you are co-captain Starlight? It's not going to work. And that's a pretty powerful, scary scene with
Mhm.
her where she threatens to share the video of him on the plane. And he's like,
Mhm.
just do it then. I would rather be loved, but being feared is fine too.
Right.
And he kind of lays out, yeah, I'll go and like take down the capital, some strategic defense areas, and
Mhm.
as he kind of plays it out, and like take down cellular service, it's just like, yeah, he could just do all that,
Right.
could just do all that. So, um, spends time humiliating a number of people and really, you know, getting people in line here. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. There were moments that I enjoyed in terms of like Homelander is a great villain.
mhm,
I mean, and it's clear he's spiraling further and further into crazy as Starlight tries to warn Supersonic about. Like you can't join the team. There's something wrong with Homelander. Um, but there are occasional moments where like he is very enjoyable in that role. There's a lot of times when I find him like disgusting and sick and just like off his rocker. And then there are times when he makes a good point, like when he threatens Starlight. He's like, if you have the leverage, I mean, you have to use it. Like you can't just empty threat it.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to do something, put up or shut up.
Yep. That is the key. That is why I like Homelander yet, because it is that balance of, okay, this is not good, it's disgusting, or a disgusting funny moment, or something you enjoy because there's
Mhm.
a grain of truth to it or something, and then just the performance. So it's a
Yeah,
complex character that I continue to enjoy watching. Unlike some other characters uh in the show,
for
that I'm kind of
sure.
getting tired of at this point. But
I know you're talking about other people, but I'm gonna put in a plug for who I'm tired of. The Deep. I did
okay.
not enjoy the whole "Let's bring the Deep" back storyline. I really like his weird cameos, his just
Yep.
random pop-ups to like promote his book or like do a thing. And like his faux Lifetime movie of the week thing was excellent.
Yes,
I don't love that he's coming back on the 7. That
I
storyline is
agree.
like that is played out. I do not care. Bye deep.
Yep. I agree. Like you say, the doses of just getting his little, like, what he's up to yet, that
Mhm.
just like silly or ridiculous, his kind of rebrand is great, and keeping him outside of the 7, that was, it was
Worked
fun
for me.
comic relief. He doesn't need to be
Yep.
more serious than that anymore.
Yep, it
Um,
worked for me. Or if you wanna bring him back, I need something to be immediately happening with the Church of the Collective.
yes,
That is the
I agree.
only interesting
Something
thing that I care about.
deeper, something in, more more
Nah,
involved.
deeper.
Some, I know, some other sort of conspiracy that's going, or something
Yes.
to
Yes.
that adds an intrigue other than just like, oh, he's just a jerk that's back now.
Yeah.
That
Played
he's,
out. I do not
mhm.
care.
And I don't know why his wife is just in the
Crazy.
meetings.
Just cray cray.
She's just always there too.
Yeah,
Like, are
and
you
like
part of
home
the
like
7 as well?
right, like Homelander doesn't care. Like I feel like he
Yeah.
normally would care about something like that, but he just doesn't.
Yeah.
So if there's a thing there, I also want that to be like more apparent right away
Right.
because
Like, if
I
it's,
don't care about the deep.
mhm. Right. That was making me wonder, maybe there is some, like, conspiracy between Vought and the church. Maybe there is something
Sure.
else there, but we don't
But
really have anything other than his wife is
right.
for some reason just there and kinda telling
Right.
him what to do. That's
Yeah,
weird.
this is the kind of thing where I don't want it to be a slow burn. Like I don't need
Mhm.
the slow mystery reveal. I would like this to just like be front and center if it is a thing.
Mhm. Yep.
So,
And I'll take this opportunity as well to tell everybody, do you know how to tell if someone is a vegan?
how is that?
You don't have to worry about it. They'll let you know.
I
It, and
should have
and
guessed it was something like that.
and I am an octopus vegan. Okay, so if I have not let this audience know yet, I am an octopus vegan, and so I did not, this besides the disturbing imagery of it, I was not a fan of
Mm-mm.
poor, I don't
Timothy.
remember, Timothy
Nope. I wrote
being
in the
roasted.
notes 3 seasons of gore, of nastiness, of giant penises and
Hmm.
whales being, beached and bloody and guts everywhere and people
Hmm.
being blown up through their butts.
Hmm.
And this is the first time in all of these seasons that I literally gagged and could not look at the screen as this was happening. I have watched everything else, but I could not. I could not watch the deep try to eat a live octopus. I could not
Well,
do it.
I know, that in real life people do eat at least a live squid, I think.
Nope, 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 nope.
Um, I don't know about octopi, but
Oh my goodness. It was so uncomfortable from like the practical how is this going to fit in his mouth, which, yes, that's what she said or he said or whatever. But seriously, how is it going to fit in his mouth to the, like, human emotion of, like, "Oh god, he's begging for his life. He says he has children."
Hmm.
Like, everything about this was just, like, too sad for me to even
Hmm.
look.
Well, Alan says octopuses. I believe it is either or octopuses or octopi. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it's either. Who could
I
know?
thought it was Octopussy.
Oh, but of course. I mean, the best James Bond movie. Yes, of course. Hmm. I
Just
mean,
settle that debate right now.
if the scene in the show would have been
It was
labeled a
any
scene,
yeah,
is probably labeled octopussy, yeah,
probably,
because that was
probably.
disturbing as well.
Yes.
Um, a lot to just like I, I didn't need it. I didn't need it, and and
And it's a
again, I
consequence of the deep being back.
yes, yes,
You didn't
exactly.
need it.
Hmm. And I think that to me, it's a whole nother issue we're not addressing in this show. If every life creature, that's a weird way to say it, every creature
Yeah.
it can like talk, can form thoughts and sentences and
Okay.
communicate with the deep. That's in this world implying
Wait,
animals have quite an intelligence.
only sea creatures though, right?
Well,
Because
he
he's
can
the
talk to
deep.
sea creatures, right?
I mean, he's
But
like a parody of Aquaman, right?
right. But he can
Okay.
talk to all these sea creatures. So that
Right.
means they're all very smart.
They're all
See,
sentient.
I don't
Yeah.
eat octopus anymore because they're too smart. Any
Hmm.
creature that is too intelligent, I just don't need to eat them. That's
Sure.
my that's my bleeding heart, whatever, But it's but in this show, he's talked to all kinds of sea creatures, little fish and whatever, all this
Dolphins.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the dolphin that went skidding across the highway. Oh. God.
Oh yeah, and they were gonna
The
get
deep is just
married. Oh.
yes, he's just like such a sad parody. Every time he tries to help a sea creature, he just like F's it up. Like the
Hmm.
dolphin, the whale, now poor Timothy.
Yeah.
Just oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I felt like his cameos were just the right doses of him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm sad he's back.
Because I never liked him other than the butt of the joke,
Right.
because he's a trash person. So I just didn't want to.
Right. And I mean I was really, to keep it in the context of the show, I was really excited for some new blood, a new character, and I was excited to see what this, American
Mm,
hero show was going to bring about and who we were going to get into the 7. And now I just feel like
deflated with
the
that. Yeah.
yeah, I feel cheated,
Hmm.
both as like an audience member and as I imagine imaginary American hero audience would feel
Absolutely.
if you were watching this like
Outrage.
yeah, it would
Hmm.
just be a bunch of BS that they just like bring back some rando instead of choosing the people that are there that
Yeah.
potentially care about.
You supported, you did a social media
Right.
campaign, hashtag this
Right.
person, audience feedback, all this
And
stuff.
then you
And then
find out it's
just,
like a big joke or a lie.
yeah. No, not
Yeah.
cool. Not
Yeah.
cool. Um, so yeah, we're in agreement with that. So, but it's not only the deep, it's also, I'm, I'm still I am having trouble finding characters near more consistently now that I like. And so
Mm.
Butcher for me even is I'm tired of I think he would
Mhm.
grow, like he'd go through some tragedy and grow, he'd grow up, he'd mature, he would like balance himself a little bit more
Yeah.
or something. But he's still a complete jerk and
Yeah.
terrible to his
His
wife's
team,
kid.
his wife's
Terrible
kid,
to his
yeah.
team, yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
like, kind of inexcusable at this point, and I'm really not digging it.
Yeah, this episode was a real setback for Butcher. Because I'd really liked where he was starting out this season. As tough as it was, he was kind of like playing by the rules.
Mhm.
He was making some effort to connect with Ryan. Um, and there you always see like there's potential for possibility for him to go off the rails, but he was like holding himself back. And I wanted him to be holding back until the right moment. And then it feels like they just unleashed him too soon, you
Mm.
know? Like, cause there are moments I think when Butcher being an asshole works, Um, but I just feel like I'm tired of him being an asshole to the people he cares about.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
fun when he's an asshole to, like,
Yeah.
other
To
people.
Homelander, he talks down to him or something like that. That's
Right.
fun. But
Or, like,
absolutely, his
the
team.
T-sip of the, doctor who was performing all the experiments who, like, basically raised Homelander into this, like, crazy psycho, and he's just like, "I'm gonna get you," and then he takes a little sip of tea. Like, that's iconic assholery.
Yep.
Like, that's great moments that you just,
Mhm.
ooh, savor, and these moments of being a jerk to the people that he cares about, I'm over that. Pushing
Yep.
people away because you care about them, because you don't want them to get hurt or whatever excuse that you have. Tired.
Yeah, I don't believe even the, "Oh, you're supposed to keep the team together because
Oh, yeah,
it's
I did not.
required of me to be the asshole." I
Nope.
don't buy that for a minute.
Nope.
So,
Nope. Mm-mm. I didn't. I mean, I like MM. I do, and I love that he is, like, that heart that, he's
yep.
guided Huey and he's, provided meaning for Butcher and, like, the rest of the team, but it felt contrived for Butcher to say, "You're the heart, so I can be the asshole."
Mhm.
It felt like he was giving something to MM only to, like, take it away and make it about himself
Mhm.
and give
And
himself permission to be a jerk.
and it's something that MM should have stepped up on more, put his foot
Mhm.
down on things like this just isn't cool, it's not right. Speak up, and he's not doing it, hasn't been.
Yeah.
And then the way he's walking all over Frenchie, the Frenchie's kind of story this season is, hey, you're the lapdog. Like you just kind of go
Yeah.
from person to person and do what they say. So I'm not really big into that either.
Yeah,
Um,
so now that you're bringing it up, I'm very back and forth on Frenchie's storyline because I like learning more about his past.
right.
I
Yeah.
I liked learning about, his time apparently as a lapdog for this, like, I don't know, Russian mob.
Russian fixer, something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something. That was interesting to me, and, getting tied back with Cherie and, um, getting them into this, like, shitty situation. It was all, like, very interesting to me to learn about his past, but then it sort of raised some questions for me about, like, how did he go over to Butcher, and how did, like, Nina let him get away? Why is he, like, just going from person to person? Like, why are we characterizing him that way?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of pasts, we're also finding out
Mm.
about Grace and the other superhero team and what they know
Payback.
about the um, what Soldier Boy going missing and stuff. So that was a fun scene. We also find out about like we see um, Black Noir wanting to
Yes!
like be I don't
Be
want
out
the
of the
mask
mask?
anymore. Yeah.
I wanna
And
talk?
then mhm. Mhm. And
Oh,
then within the course of the same episode become horribly disfigured.
right, and I'm not
Yikes.
sure capable of speech.
Right? Yeah, I don't
That
know.
was a question mark I was left with.
Right? So,
Um, yeah, I really so I loved the flashback. I love the trip back into her past. I love learning more about, like, her experience with soups and, like, how wrong they are clearly for conscripted service and, like, being in any kind of, like, militarized force. Loved, the, like, nods to US history with governments, like, interfering, setting up
mhm.
dictators, getting their own citizens hooked on cocaine, like, oh my
Yep.
god, just, like, so much, like, oh, totally. Dark
Just like
chapters, but very real
pulling the CIA
chapters.
files, yeah.
Yep. Um, but I do have to say, so I wanna address the content of the flashback in a minute, but I do wanna say I really didn't get the boys feeling, like, super betrayed by her not telling them this, because she
Sure.
doesn't really know anything. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, in the sum total of it, she didn't see Soldier Boy get killed. She only has Crimson Countess's word that the Russians, like, killed him and took his body,
Right.
and she doesn't even know where his body is, what happened, like, she has nothing to offer the boys.
Yeah, it just the knowledge that maybe there was a weapon that was powerful enough to kill
But,
someone like
like
Soldier Boy, but it's all
but
hearsay.
maybe it is, it's total hearsay, and Crimson Countess, like, it felt so like, "Oh, they killed him, they had a special weapon and they took his body," like, it sounded so fake.
Like set up, yeah. Mhm,
Yeah, like, either she's super dumb and bought it, or it's a setup, and she bought
mhm.
it.
And it could have been a thing that he got knocked out and they
Right.
carried him away. Like, it doesn't mean he's dead, just but yeah,
Yeah.
kidnapped as far, but
Right. Yeah. So it just all felt like such a nothing thing for the team to be acting that betrayed by her. You know
mhm,
what I mean?
right. Yeah,
So I
it's a
just
lot of like what if, these are big jumps to then to throw it in her face. Oh, my wife might still be alive,
right.
all this sort of
Like,
thing.
how?
Well,
Was she
if they
supposed
had
to like
started
go to
looking for this weapon
but she
way
did.
earlier, maybe they would have found it. Like
But
in
she
season
did.
1, it could have been like on the path.
But like
They weren't.
his wife was already dead by then.
No, not in
I mean,
season
well,
1.
I guess yeah, she wasn't dead, but he thought she was dead.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, I don't know. I feel like it's a stretch that like Butcher is like wants to believe that this information would have been so
He just
useful.
wants to be angry. That's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. He just
Yeah.
wants to be angry. So,
But yeah, so I did enjoy the flashback itself. I enjoyed like learning about her past, her contacts, however brief, with, Soldier Boy, Crimson Countess, Gunpowder, Swatto, who's a moron, just flying around above the camp, like, oh hey, here we are,
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I was like that was very weird to me. Uh I mean, I guess, it's
They were
kind of
such
the
morons.
yes.
They were very like, we're like a USO show rather than, we're here to
Mhm.
fight in the army.
But then they kept like shooting their own people.
My God.
I
So
don't know.
stupid.
It was maybe a little much,
Yeah.
but I guess it's to drive home how I don't know,
Inept.
sadistic they are and yeah, they
Inept, yeah.
just regard for human life, but
It
yeah.
was fun for me, I made a note of this, it was fun to see a young Stan Edgar. Like, they props to the actor who played young Giancarlo Esposito because he had, like, the same stillness and smooth tones
Hmm.
that I think he does as Stan. I mean, younger, less polished, but I think that's because
Yeah.
he's younger and less polished.
No, I agree. I was really more impressed with the
Young Grace.
yes.
Yes,
I
I
thought that
agree with you.
just
I just thought both actors did a really good
yeah.
job.
It was fun for sure to see that. Um Episode 3 ends with hashtag homelight.
Oh,
Uh so
speaking of
yeah.
gagging,
Yeah.
that
Mm.
that kiss was just horrible.
And again, it's a thing that audiences are going to see through, they're going to see through that kind of that's I mean, some people won't, I guess, but
Oh,
it's pretty
they were both just terrible at faking
mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Oh,
So, and it kind of it's funny cuz she had just I didn't really think I believed this I thought this conversation was weird. She's calling Huey
mm,
and kind of seems disappointed that he's not saying just get out and run.
yeah,
But was she going to? I mean, she's been through all this stuff. Did she think running was an option? So I don't think it's fair to like
right.
be disappointed exactly. Now maybe you want your boyfriend to say that and so then you can not, say like I appreciate that, but I can't do that. Um
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe some parts there that were she was disappointed not only in his response but his like reasoning.
sure.
It just seems so shallow that he was like, I need a win, so you have to stay where you could potentially die
Sure.
because I'm
Yeah.
frustrated at
Ugh,
losing. I
sure.
was like, that's some weak sauce, Huey.
Mhm.
Like, she could literally die, and you're
Yep.
telling her to stay there because you're mad that
Mhm.
you're not as cool as and powerful as Homelander.
Yeah, it's gotta
Ugh.
be well, did he say that to I mean, I know he said that to Butcher. He
No,
said that to
he's
her too?
so yeah, so he I'm trying to remember my note. Oh yeah, because he was frustrated that they keep losing, and doing it the right way didn't get them anywhere. So we just have to be
Mm,
mean and nasty like they are.
mm,
Because I remember
okay.
he specifically said to her that he was tired of losing.
Mhm.
And I was like,
This episode had a lot of like themes of dildos. There's just a lot of dildos around.
you mean episode 4?
Yes. Yes. Just a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Did
like,
you
why you're keeping that in your desk? Like
so
that's
okay. So I don't know if you do this, but I've done it just because I get curious. So I sometimes will like flick ahead and read like the short description for the next episode. And
mm.
for this episode, it was like Battle of the Dildos, like Black Noirs, blah 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 versus Starlight's thing. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
what the hell is this episode gonna be about? Like there's
Mhm.
like some sort of weird porn thing happening.
Mhm.
And then we got to that scene and I was like, "Oh, it's like a literal battle." It's
Mhm.
like they're
Mhm.
used in bat but yeah, from the short description, I was like, "What is happening here?" And then the episode just made it
Mhm.
all make horrible, horrible
Mhm.
sense.
Ah, yeah, that's true. It was a fun scene. Um,
2 scenes, 1 scene,
well,
Kimiko and
with
the
Kimiko,
dildos, and then Ashley and
yeah,
the dildo.
not that so much. That was
That
like
was
I'm
not
like,
fun.
really? Well, that's in your desk. That's just weird. That's
And it's
weird.
Homelanders, it's Homelanders. I did not need to know that.
Well, is
They're
it?
all superhero themed
Yeah.
in
Oh,
this one.
yes. Yes. This is super. Yes. This is
Yeah,
super
no, it's not
adapted
like
home. Yes.
his personal
Okay.
one.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
his theme one, I mean. I mean, I don't
Uh,
know.
yeah. Right. Who's to say? Mhm.
Who's to say?
Um. Yeah. It's very interesting. Um. I feel bad for Kimiko. She's like my favorite, basically.
Mhm.
Because she's actually the genuine hearted one. And Ash and I were looking at each other like, okay, they're planning to leave her and Frenchie. This isn't gonna go well now.
Right.
So
Anytime
I'm just
somebody's on the cusp of being happy, you're like, watch
hmm
out. You're not gonna be.
so I mean, where do you feel for them? Where like should they have just be getting out of there and living their life? Or is it like
Um,
we need to be a part of dealing with this because
sure.
superheroes are a real big problem.
Sure. I feel they're both at the place of we can't do this anymore. They've already done so much. Like, I do feel they deserve a break, a trip, a permanent break, whatever they want. They've been through a lot. Um, so I didn't like fault them for being like, we need to get out of here. And I wasn't mad that they were like, we just need to finish this because I get that Frenchie at one point had real feelings for Cherie
Mm.
and didn't want her to be killed by little Nina. So he was sort of like rocking a hard place, but he's like, hey, we're just going to do this last thing. I truly believe he felt that and really wanted to go away with Kimiko. And of course, something happened.
Yeah. So we get all kinds of craziness. They're going on this mission. They're trying to, break into this facility here. Um,
Find a weapon to kill Homelander,
Huey
kill
had
like a
his
minor
arm broken.
Russian
Yeah.
mobster.
Yep. And Huey finds out that Butcher is taking temporary V.
And of
We get
course he's coveting it. Everybody else would be like, "What the hell are you doing? Throw that in the trash." And of course Huey's the one who's like so I said this before, I'm wearing black today because I'm mourning my love of Huey's character because this episode 4 really put the nail in the coffin for me. From episode 3 where I didn't like his whininess, his like sorry, Starlight, you have to suck it up and be near crazy Homelander because
Mhm.
I'm sad I don't get to win things. This episode where he's like, oh, like you get to take temporary V. I want to take temporary V. And the home light kiss that's playing on the Russian TVs and like making fun of him and he's acting like it's a real thing.
Hmm.
Like, why does this bother you, dude? You know what's going down. So people made fun of you. So what? Like, Starlight has real problems. Butcher has real problems. Kimiko has real problems. Like,
Hmm.
you being made fun of for like a half second on TV is not a problem.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
to the end where we have, I mean, I know I'm skipping, but like
No,
we
that's
have
fine.
Kimiko in real danger and
Yeah.
Huey's like taking temporary V and is like leaning his head out the window and he's like high on life because he thinks he got to win because he has
Yeah.
superpowers. I was like, I am done, 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 done.
It was so weird. I was wondering if there are like side effects to the to V, but it didn't seem to be the case for Butcher. Like he didn't get
Right,
high on. He's not like now. Like maybe it's addictive, you
right.
know.
So
That
yeah,
he's
so we definitely still have questions about V, I think,
right.
because Huey manifested a power we haven't seen Butcher do.
Hmm.
He like half super sped, half teleported
Yeah, I think it was like a
to go
teleportation thing. Yeah.
tackle that guard. Yeah. So unclear as to whether like V gives you different powers or like, you just have to like test out what your powers are. Might hit you differently. Might
Hmm.
24 hours might be truly 24 hours or, for some people it might be less, might be more,
Right.
you know. For certain people it might just be like regular drugs. Some people are more have more addictive personalities and can get hooked faster.
Hmm.
Don't know.
Yep. And it could be just leading us, but I like it
Yeah.
felt to me like Butcher was maybe a little like I need to covet this myself. That's gonna I need to take this. It just sounds like, of course, like a drug addict kind of thing. But at the same time, you get it, going to someplace dangerous or whatever,
Mhm.
but how is it fair exactly that he's he's in possession of this and he's like, I'm gonna take this risk on and none of the rest of you can. I'm not gonna tell any of you, which is also weird to not tell him because
Mhm.
it's a good chance they're gonna find out.
Which then he just, like, threw caution to the wind and, like, showed them all.
Yep. Yep. Well, we're out of ammo, so there we are. Bam.
Yep.
But yeah. I don't know. But we see that indeed they spend too long like thinking this one hamster is really cute. It's like, okay, it's just a weird looking hamster. Just
Okay,
leave it alone.
so this is actually the hamster, Jamie the hamster, is apparently in the comics, and that's
Oh,
definitely
nice.
one of the things that was, like, tipping me into, like, I should really read these comics, like, why the F is Jamie the super V'd up hamster in these?
I was joking. It's like maybe that's the weapon. You can just
I
burrow
mean,
in anything, and
he
yeah,
clearly is a weapon.
yeah,
He
mhm,
saves Frenchie.
mhm.
Inadvertently or purposely,
Right.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know about animal intelligence in this show, it could be anything.
Yep. And then we see that of course Soldier Boy is alive,
Mhm.
and he I don't know, like needs to expel some energy and busts up Kimiko in the process, collateral damage. And I guess it didn't seem like it was directed. It just seemed like it didn't matter. Like just
Yeah.
and then she's seemingly not able to heal now. So that's quite the added
Right.
power here now or something.
Right, so it's unclear if, like, his new energy expelling, like, whatever that is,
Hmm.
targeted or not, affect superheroes' powers, or if it's just so overwhelming that because one of Kimiko's powers besides super strength is like the Wolverine like ability to
Yeah.
heal. So it's unclear if that's his power somehow like mitigating that, or if it's just so powerful and overwhelming that it just doesn't matter.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. It'd be interesting if it nullifies powers. I mean, that's not
Yeah.
like, that'd be interesting. So seems to get away anyways. We find out he's alive. That's the shock. That's not a shock because Soldier Boy was in all the
Right.
previews and stuff or
We,
whatever,
I
but
mean, we all knew it was going to come that he was alive. There was just no
mhm.
way that like they shot him and took his body off camera was going to be he's actually dead.
Yep. Hmm.
So, so I mean, so he technically could be the weapon to kill Homelander
Yep.
if
Hmm.
we can figure out how like with it he is brain space wise
Yep.
and maybe what he wants and where he's going and what he plans to do.
Yep. Yep. So there's a lot more we didn't cover. We talk about more kind of power struggles and again, torturing everybody a little bit, putting Homelander making fun of A Train and telling, killing the new teammate
Oh,
when the moron new guy,
ouch.
I saw that you put in the comments too. It's like, this is not, I didn't think it was going to end so
Like
quickly this
that,
way.
yeah.
Yeah. But you knew it wasn't gonna go well. Telling A Train. I'm like, right away, he's just gonna go and try to tell Homelander to get in his good graces. Like,
Exactly. He's such a little bitch.
ugh, man.
Yeah. And I was really
So,
bummed because, like, obviously Starlight is working to, keep close to Homelander and, like, keep things stable until the boys can figure out, like, a weapon to kill him. Queen Maeve, like, has been a low key badass this season. I also like
yeah,
her amount of involvement right now,
yeah,
bringing Butcher some intel, training on the down low, like putting out rumors that, she's just like a drunk and,
yeah,
sexing it up when really she's like secretly training and dry. And yeah, I love that she's playing the long game. So
yep.
everybody's working so hard and then A Train just comes in like a little D bag, ruins it. Ruins some of it
Ah,
anyway.
mhm. Well, Starlight should have made it more clear for
Yeah.
bringing him in. Like, you know, clearly in over
At
his
least
head.
he didn't
Doesn't
at least
know.
he clearly didn't know about Maeve and Starlight.
Yes, that's very lucky.
Yeah.
So, yep. Well,
And
Starlight,
I mean,
yes,
well, yes,
but not
Starlight
me.
sort of though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't think Homelander thinks it's any different from like her normal I don't like you and I don't want you to be in power. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's nothing like special and different like I
Mhm.
know of a weapon that could kill you.
Oh, yeah, right. Yep. Just the plotting against him kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
Yep.
Which I think he thinks is like par for the course
I would think
for
so.
her.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Hmm. All right. Well, overall, what'd you think of these episodes? You enjoying the show so far? Or?
I am there are some really good storylines happening here for certain characters and then these 2 episodes definitely took a stumble, I think, in reintroducing old material. Like we said, the deep just doesn't need to be anywhere near here. Old material in Butcher being an asshole. Um, and I think there were some inconsistencies with motive that I was disappointed in. But overall, moving the storyline forward nicely. I'm interested to see where the boys are headed because right now they're pretty much rock bottom.
Yep.
Um, so what's going to happen? What's going to happen with Soldier Boy? What's going to happen to Starlight and Maeve's, grand ideas for Homelander? I don't know. What's going to happen to Stan Edgar?
Yeah.
Homelander
Right.
delivered him a sneaky
Yeah.
blow.
Yeah. That's a big reveal that he snuck around, found out who the head popper is, and
Yeah.
made a few little threats. That's going to be interesting dynamic there. Can
Yeah.
she pop his head
Right.
or not? Is she going to
Right.
try it? Because if she tries it and it doesn't work, she's dead, and so is her
Right.
daughter.
Right. So there's
So,
the like looming possibility which for her is like her leverage and for Homelander is like it's weirdly exciting
yep,
because he
yep,
he weirdly gets off on like is there somebody out there that can beat me? Like I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
shoot, what was I going to say about that though? Oh,
Daughter,
so yeah, so two quick things on that storyline. One, speaking of terrible moms, like forcing her daughter to take V because she thinks it'll protect her. Yikes. That's not a gamble I would be forcing on my kid.
sure.
And that's not some pain that I would be forcing on my kid.
Hmm.
Um, and then also Homelander felt very Magneto to me when he was like, "Good job choosing your own kind."
Right. Yep. Yeah, you
It
can
just it was just
definitely.
so reminiscent of that. I was just like, "Oof, I have chills."
Yep. Yep. Magneto's a nicer guy than Homelander.
Clearly, but like
But yeah.
that line of
Yes.
thinking was very much
Yeah.
the same.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, that's been The Boys,
Mhm,
season 3, episodes 3 and 4. We're back in a couple weeks to talk about the next few episodes. And until then, make sure you are caught up on the show, watching along with us. Subscribe,
mhm,
please, on Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of thing. Take your favorite podcast directory, subscribe there, leave a review. That would be much appreciated, sort of
mhm.
thing. Feel free to interact with us on the socials or wherever. Leave a comment. It's great. Um, yeah, much appreciated. And Killing the Flower, they wrote our theme song, so you should check them out. They're on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. And that'll about do it from us. Next
Mhm.
week is Westworld, so see you
Yeah.
then. Thanks again for joining me, Andrea.
Of course. As always. Cheers, everybody.